Welcome to Moonlight Madness, and today I'm doing the readings for the February. We've already done the air. I'm a bit late with these ones, but this is the Earth, Taurus, Virgo, Capricorn, rising, Sun, Moon, or rising. The first card I pulled today is from the deck of Doreen and Radleigh Valentine, and the illustrations are by David Johnson. They're gorgeous pictures. And the other deck I'm using is the Wisdom of the Oracle by Colette-Baron-Reid, and the Enchanted Map by Colette-Baron-Reid, and the Fairy Oracle by Lucy Cavendish, and artwork by Selina Fenech. So the first card I pulled was the Chariot. This is like the go-getting Sagittarian energy. It's a 7 number. It's lucky. There's 7 colours in the rainbow. Then there's the lucky 7 is also talking about 7 days of the week. 7s are all about synchronicities and events that come out of nowhere. You may all of a sudden be thrust into the spotlight. Someone may finally pick up your energy and want to produce it, or put you on television, or put you on radio. There's someone around you who wants to help out, who could be a Sagittarian. You are looking at self-control and accomplishing your dreams, and you may have to go on work-related travel. The Charioteer is all about dragonflies. Be genuine and optimistic. So draw attention to yourself, or your work can feel awkward, but sometimes you have to do this. And interacting with people in the public, just be your authentic self, and then that's what you can really do. So I had to see my 2 boys today, and it's Valentine's Day, and I went over there, and I hadn't seen them for my birthday because I've been unwell. They bought me this beautiful candle. It's called Sand and Fog, inspired on the Californian coast, eucalyptus and spearmint, and it's lovely. It's just really beautiful, and it's got here, it's by Christy, Elisa and Jill. Soy wax, made by women for women, which is really cool. So thanks to Miguel and Christopher for my belated birthday present, which fell on Valentine's Day, so it worked out well. Hope everyone out there is being romantic and taken out for dinner somewhere, or someone's spoiling you. Okay, it says here, the 2 dragonflies, so you're steering the negative and the positive. That's a Sagittarian nature. They can be very depressed or very upbeat. They need to be on the go, on the move. You may be moving somewhere, either moving house, moving job, or location. The Star card is coming up in the Aquarius season we're still in, and this is to do with shining star. You could be the star of the show. Look to the future with hope and optimism, the power of faith to move mountains. Happy changes that bring relief from challenging times. It could be about getting really clean, getting your diet really clean, starting from scratch. You might have had a purge, like a lot of people who've had COVID have had a restricted diet because they just didn't have the capacity to eat food, and they may have done like a water diet or a soup diet in order to kickstart their metabolism and flush out whatever's going on in the body. So this is about rebirth, the rebirth of the weight loss program, or the rebirth of a clean living diet. It talks about that. And 1 and 7 is an 8, so it's a karmic thing. So it's the timing had to be now before you wanted to go and embark on this fitness regime. A lot of people could be starting up an exercise program, walking, swimming, bicycling, fishing, I guess rowing, roller skating, skateboarding, fitness regime. Faith to move mountains, believing in your future, good fortune at the end of the tunnel, and suddenly knowing what to do next. Now's the time to believe. Challenges fade away as the joy that comes from true faith lights your way, like a clear starry sky. Life has wonderful, magical things in store for you right now. There's no room for self-doubt. It says here to look to the future with hope and optimism. And look to the stars. The Star card is also shared with the Chariot, and they all have stars in that one, and the High Priestess. So the High Priestess is with the star is healing, and the High Priestess and the Chariot is healing the soul. That's how I look at it. And then in the past you had a big love, Ace of Cups. This talks about open your heart to love, the beginning of a new relationship or the rebirth of a current one. Or you may have had a psychic ability, or you might have just gone up at an octave in your psychic development. A lot of people are going through an awakening right now, and probably did in the past as well, because you had to tune into being at home and tune into being a family rather than everyone going off and doing their own thing. You had to learn how to work with each other in confined circumstances. It was a learning curve for everyone, so a great deal of enlightenment has come from this. The 9 of Autumn, in the recent past, talks about rewarding yourself for all your hard work, being happy and successfully self-employed. You might have started your own online business, or you may have launched a new candle range, or something to do with things from home, a jewellery business. Some of you could be jewellers. I can see jewellery around some people. So just thinking outside the box is what is required. And I think what's been happening is that back in the day, I was dating a guy in the Air Force in America, and he told me that the parents used to send care packages, and I didn't understand what that was. But the care packages, had things from America, or they had things that they particularly liked for their birthday sent over, or a home movie, because then they could see their parents, and vice versa. And I thought it was really sweet. And that's kind of what's been happening with COVID. Everyone's had to rally the troops, and when someone's sick, go around with a bag of medical supplies and drop it at the front door like a care package. So if someone was bright enough, they might make a business out of it, because if you can't get to your family, who's going to look after you? Flatmates. You've only got the flatmates to count on. And so, just that extra bit of kindness goes a long way, and it improves the mood of a household if everyone looks out for everyone. I think it's really cool. Ace of Winter. One of the guys here was sick, and I looked after him, and he bought me a bottle of wine. I thought that was beautiful. That was a way of saying thank you for helping him, and because he didn't have anyone local that could come and help him. Brilliant new concepts, overcoming obstacles, remaining optimistic, being objective, noticing and trusting the signs of a positive outcome. So don't be deterred by challenges. I get this card as a download. It's like the Ace of Swords. See how she's got that crystal above her head? That pure crystalline thought, and there's the snow leopard in the background. And at the moment we're in the year of the tiger. It's the Tiger Chinese New Year. So we've got here, she's downloading with her crystalline thoughts, her pure thoughts are coming in from spirit. And so they're being sent to her to help tidy up her life, to give her insight and clarity on where she needs to go next, to give her hope. And I think that's what you're going to get. You're going to get downloads if you're an earth sign. You're going to get knowledge of what to do next maybe through another psychic medium, or through just your sleep. You'll see what you're meant to do next. You'll be led by divine. And so the crystals that I'm using today are from Rainbow Runner in Hamilton. And the guy that owns the shop is Adrian, and his wife is there as well. She's lovely too. I've forgotten her name, but she's really good. She'll help you out with any spell work, crystal work, candles. She has a range of books in there that are all meditation books, self-healing, tarot card books, everything you think of, clothing. It's all in Rainbow Runner. And I've visited recently and bought myself a crystal for Valentine's Day. I had given mine away to the one that was unwell. This is my rose quartz crystal, and that's for love. So being Valentine's Day, I wanted to acknowledge that as the rose quartz. To attract love, you must wear pink. Sorry, peach. And then if you are in love, you wear pink. That's it. That's what I was reading somewhere. And so those downloads are from the truth for you, just to avoid confusion, to give you strength and courage as well. You need to communicate in a very clear and precise and concise fashion in order to avoid confusion. And as I've recently found, lessons of men and women think absolutely differently. What is one way to a man is opposite to the way a woman would interpret something. So it's all about body language, and it's all about your intention and your how you bring it across, how you express your emotion can come across as hostile and threatening to a woman. So I've been educating my son how not to offend or intimidate females, because he doesn't know either. So, I think most boys need to be taught these lessons, probably a lot earlier than what I've taught them, but boys only teach boys what boys know. Older men teach boys what they think should be happening, when in fact it's actually wrong, because it's from a male perspective. From a female perspective, you're getting the right perspective of what females want and don't want. Then we've got here, some of you, there could be a death around, a death in the family for the earth signs, if you're a Taurus, Virgo or Capricorn. Or you may be going through, in the future, a death of one way of life and the beginning of a new way of life. So with the death card, I always pick up protection, black tourmaline. I also would use smoky quartz as well for protection and releasing. So when I do cast a spell or I'm doing meditation, I breathe in with the crystal and breathe out with the tourmaline, the black tourmaline, which is the negative, bringing in the positive and flushing out the negative. And then the Magician card is a really good card to pull up. It's a manifesting card. So if you're trying to manifest a job, a relationship, a new home, this is the perfect time to do it on the Aquarian energy right now we're still in. The Magician is magically able to do anything. They can manifest what you need to be a success. You just might put it out there, you might write it on a piece of paper, or you might see a picture, law of attraction. You might find something on the ground that looks like what you've got on you. You may have a tattoo that's a butterfly, and then a butterfly will all of a sudden come past you, like attracts like, law of attraction. So to attract a job, you need to write on a piece of paper, on a blank piece of paper, what job you'd like, where you'd like to work, what area. For a relationship, you write, I want these qualities in a partner. They have to have a sense of humour. They need to be fun. Maybe you want someone younger or older. You can write down, I want someone younger or the same age as me. If you want someone from overseas, I usually cast a spell with an overseas casting spell, which is drawing a boat and then making up, I used to use 3 ribbons, pink, purple and white ribbon, and plait it and wear it around my wrist for 7 days after Valentine's Day. And that's a spell to attract a foreign lover, and ask for a foreign lover, someone from overseas, if that's what you're after. But you also have to remember that you have to word it really specifically, because you may not want someone from overseas, because then they have to move home. They're not here for their short term, not long term. So you've got to be careful what you wish for. You just might get it. So we've got here the Magician, and it also talks about taking charge of your life, visualization, success due to excellent training. There's nothing you can't accomplish. The fairies are magical and can help you manifest whatever it is you need in order to be a success. So money, creative abilities, or friends who are willing to help out, understanding what you already have versus what you're in need of, allows the fairies to send you the perfect gift. You have amazing skill and creative talents that you can rely on. However, it's also wise to seek out good advice from experienced people. Allow others to open doors for you or make introductions to those who can point you in the right direction. Then we've got life experience. So this is to do with air signs, Aquarian energy. Again, it's the tower that falls. So you might have an argument with someone, or there could be one coming up around you. Be careful, because it could be quite a nasty fight. It could be a shocking discovery you might find about your life or someone else's life, or news that you weren't expecting. Or it can also symbol an earthquake, a tsunami, which we recently had, all that rain, which came out of nowhere. And it was like a tsunami. It was all that water and all that rain. It just circled for 3 days. That's the sort of extreme weather pattern that the tower represents. So there could be extreme weather patterns or extreme mood swings or mood changes in someone. 16 is a 7, again a 7. So you've got 2 7s there you've brought through, which is the Chariot. So something lucky, something unexpected is going to come left of field in the next 7 days, I'm getting, because that's the tower and it's a major arcana. So I'm guessing that would be representative of that. It says here, look for the skies for coming challenges. You can weather any storm and move on to new, exciting, peaceful horizons. Keep your eyes on the future. What transitions do you see coming? Ask the angels and God to point you to the right uplifting things to do. How might you plan or prepare in order to continue on your path to happiness? Unity. Do the right thing for the right reason. This is about community. It's a 5. 5s usually represent work. And I'll tell you one thing, this booster shot that I had, it was so wore me out. I couldn't even do anything on my birthday. I was flat on my back. I was so sick. And the extreme temperatures I had, and the sweats and the chills, and the couldn't eat anything, I was sleeping 10, 12 hour days. it was one of the worst reactions I've had out of all of the needles so far from the Moderna. But the thing is that what I noticed is I'm really tired now. I'm still really tired even though I've had heaps of sleep. And it's because it's worn my body out. My body is still recovering. I'm getting back into my fresh foods again and trying to get my energy levels back up. But it's been really low because of, I guess the shot took a lot out of me. Doing the right thing for the right reason, being a spiritual teacher to others and consulting one for guidance. It says here, you've got to learn the traditional ways of doing things. And what it's saying is sometimes traditional ways work better than new ways, but you have to learn to work with both of them if you are to be a good leader, which you've got the Emperor, which is representative of Taurus, Capricorn and Virgo. So if you're a leader of a church or you're the leader of, as in the leader of the country, you could be the king, queen or princess, you have to make the choices for the highest good of your people. And it says you've got to be very considerate and try to mix various methods with old and new ideas on how to go about these things. Which philosophy to follow. If your goals are meeting with resistance, it may be due to the method that you are using to attain them rather than a flat out no. You've got to find a way to compromise and balance your decision making and find a way to express compassion and be open to people's perceptions regarding the strategies you are to take. Have a support group of friends and a spiritual teacher who walks his walk or her talk will uplift you and allow you to stand tall in your work. Always stay on a path of integrity. In every aspect of life, the law of attraction rewards you and those who follow their dreams. So old and new ways of thinking you have to combine. If you're passing down future laws, future, laws and, what am I trying to say? Commandments. The way to handle certain things in Parliament. If you're a lawyer or a judge, you have to handle it by the law, but in a compassionate way that is open to change. And that's what I have for you for Earth signs. And then I've got here, this is Lucy Cavendish's Fairy Oracle. They're really big cards. I find them difficult to shuffle, but I got them from Rainbow Runner, where I get all my deck stuff from. Just happened to spy upon this one because I'd lost the other one, which was a friend's. Oh, Dark Moon. Growing up, introspection, know thyself, maturation. It's a beautiful picture. I really like the drawing on that. She's all curled up. She's got the Capricorn, the rams, or Aries, I guess, horns. That's like representing Aries. So someone might have Aries in their chart. I know I have Aries in my chart, and that makes me very fiery. But they also are the magicians. I guess Aries and the magicians go hand in hand, so that's like law of attraction. The Aries makes the magic happen, is what someone told me once. They're magical people. They can drum up a storm. They can make it really hot. They can make it really windy. They just have the ability to conjure up just about any type of weather pattern. Fairy tales. Detachment, moving on. That's what someone told me once before. Don't get too emotionally invested because it's not going to last. So you might as well just detach so you don't get hurt. It's like children. They grow up. They're on borrowed time. We don't own them. They're just borrowed. They're lent to us through God. We're just there to look after them, but they come to a certain age where they don't need us anymore, and we have to grieve that period because it's very difficult when you've had that person for 20 something years to all of a sudden just detach and not be caring. Very hard to do that. And I think it's hard for them too because they're very reliant on you until they meet their person. You will see miracles that take place. Remember, we teach others how to treat us and have similarly taught yourself what you feel you are worth and taught others to rely too heavily on you. However, it is not too late to change. You are not refusing to save a life. That's how it looks to your own critical self and perhaps to others, like you've just walked away and abandoned them. But no, you haven't. If you can't put When it says to put the sign, the flashing light on a plane, and you have to put the mask on, you meant to put one on yourself and then on the child. Otherwise, how can you look after them? If you can't look after yourself, you can't look after the children. And it says it's not too late to change. You are refusing to save a life, though it seems to be your own self. It's critical. At the moment, you feel your worth is derived entirely from being of service to others, even when you feel you can no longer go on. You are currently a one-person rescue squad, but until you help yourself to be free of that, you'll never be free enough to be of help to others. Resentment, guilt and anger can leak into the service you are providing. Please contemplate a fresh way of communicating and begin to love yourself and give yourself regular work breaks. And time out. When you can begin to respect your contribution, others will too. Please set all of a loving, inspiring example. Yeah, set them a loving example. So tell, your son, your children, if they've been sick with the COVID, to look after themselves, to sleep more. You must get more sleep when you've had that shot, because it takes a lot out of a person, especially if you're already thin. 6. I lost about 5 kilos just because I couldn't eat. Didn't have an appetite at all. Okay, the fairy card is Dark Moon. She's in deep contemplation, crooked in the cradle of a darkening moon from the northern hemisphere perspective. A dark air of regret swirls about her. This sad being represents the darkening and time when we reassess and, like her, grapple with understanding our response to a real test. She feels withdrawn, very young, very childlike, raw and untried. This is no failure of hers. She's facing the sadness that can lie within. On her head curl the thorns of the ram, showing she's a fiery being, one who has been brave and headstrong, and who for a time has stepped back to unfamiliar territory, and that of the questioning of self. She's one of her kind. She's one of the few of her kind, and her dilemma is of being isolated, winnowed, or being treated unjust. She faces quite kind of extinction and knows that whatever she chooses to do now will determine her fate. So she takes the time to ponder and to sit and to understand she's both masculine and feminine, her horns indicating many years of being on the earth as a mature, thick and heavily curling. She survived on little over the years and asked Annie to keep going, but now she faces a real threat. It says here, you can be interpreted as a menopausal card for women, or one of sending bad news, bringing about change as their moon times comes to darkening. It is time for understanding the frailties of the self and understanding the wisdom your years on this earth have taught you, knowing that there is nothing that can be done at this time, knowing that you need to understand where you are responsible for the current situation. Learning and taking ownership of responsibility will create freedom and new opportunities. Move through this and feel renewed, alive, and though your own personal evolution is finally underway. It will never be too late. The test and the wisdom make this life here so worthwhile and will create your beautiful legacy for generations to come. You will rise from this as the phoenix is reborn from the ashes. Again, talking about death. As just as the moon will wax and grow full once again, have hope, but do spend time in contemplation to rest and recover. And it is like you're going through a death, like a death of the soul. It's a dark night of the soul. When you have these needles, they're not for the faint-hearted. Now, I don't think it's a good idea to have anything over the age of 40, in my opinion, but that's my opinion. Everyone has an opinion. I hope to God my son, who's in his early 20s, doesn't get as sick as what I was. Oh, there we go. Fork in the road. That's a choice. Do we go left or do we go right? I was talking about that today. I said to my son, when you're predicting future for people, that can change. It's a snapshot in time that what I get or I see things for people. That could happen on that day is seen for that time period. What can happen if you choose to make a healthy decision as opposed to a not a healthy decision. But if you choose to go the non-healthy solution, then that won't evolve. That's just a possible reality. It's like sliding doors. When she opens one door and she finds her partner in bed with someone else, she comes home unexpectedly, and then it shows the other version of her where she doesn't come home and continues on and doesn't even know about the affair. That's the sliding doors moment of this reading. Do we go left and discover the infidelity, or do we go right? Orphaned. That's a really sad card, that one. That reminds me of, again, similar picture, dark moon, and orphan. So there's that. Orphan 5 and 13. Yeah, they're going left and right. You've arrived at a fork in the road. Do you choose the road less travelled or the one well worn by others who've come before you? This is your choice and yours alone to make. Circumstances and other people will not make it for you. Be present and do not avoid this junction. This crossroad is important crossroads. Take heart, as no matter which path you choose, you will have a rich and meaningful experience. You've reached a moment of truth in the evolution of your relationship. Which will you choose, to open up to the possibility of love, or to remain isolated, or to go deep and commit to a mutual passion, or to walk away? This is a time to take responsibility for your truest desire and follow it. Be honest with yourself about what you're willing to do. Invest and give, then choose. You cannot make a wrong choice. If you move forward with a relationship, know that it will be based in truth and authenticity. You will have made a conscious decision rather than simply hanging on because you don't want to be alone, or ending things because you're afraid of the intensity of genuine connection. All roads lead to the lessons you must learn in your relationships, regardless of the decision you make. It will place you on the path to a truer experience of the heart. Yeah, whether to be or remain in a single, or to go into a relationship wholeheartedly. Because it all comes down to responsibility. Do you want the responsibility of someone else's stuff, or do you want to go alone and fix your own stuff before you take on someone else's problems? Because a problem shared is a problem halved. But it also opens you up to being vulnerable, to having to take on all their stuff. A sense of loss and identity crisis, recognising that you don't fit in, the need to belong, uncertain about your place. We were all meant to have connections with other people, within our families, society, and the larger culture. No man is an island, and it's important to recognise that when being a part of rather than separate from is essential to your well-being. The issue at hand is the need to find where you fit. Be true to your core values and truths. Perhaps you no longer identify with a group or community the way you did before and you need to find a new situation. You might be feeling a deep sense of loss or confusion. Address the need for belonging and know that you will find your place with others of the like mind and spirit. It's okay to let go of pressure to fit in. Not everyone will understand you. It's time to move on. As you shift and evolve and commit to your own growth, you long for your support. You may be disappointed and hurt by others who are not providing what you feel you deserve. Perhaps you are drifting away from this relationship because you're in a different stage of personal growth. Perhaps you're in a new relationship and discovering that you don't share the same values and beliefs, so you feel left out, unable to get to that intimate place of safety and belonging. Take heart, as Spirit knows you and loves you and will steer you in the right direction of those who accept you as you are, without artifice or agenda. Don't compromise yourself to belong. It won't be worth the price. And that's what it's saying. You don't always have to fit in. By fitting in, it might make you lose your sense of your values, and you may compromise your ethics for somebody else. That wouldn't bother. That's my phone. It's going to keep ringing because I'm still doing the reading, so I apologise for that. People always seem to ring me at the wrong times. Anyway, the Enchanted map. Colette-Baron-Reid. And the cards don't want to work now because I had an interruption. Ugh. Damned if you do and damned if you don't. Magical map shifter. My son. I'll call him later. Oh! There we go. It's the second card. Bone Collector. That's that one. When the Bone Collector appears, she's asking you to look closely at your circumstances to see if you're being fully present or reacting out of past conditioning and an unconscious expectation. Whenever we're wounded, especially when we're young, it's as if something essential is stolen from us. We adapt and accept a particular version of the truth that sets us up to behave a certain way in the future, when faced with a situation that reminds us of the original event. What we know about ourselves thus becomes influenced by perception of limitation. You may feel unworthy or without courage. You may see yourself as flawed or unlovable, or expect to be criticised no matter what you question. The Bone Collector reminds you that the truth is you are a powerful being with limitless possibilities. She's kept safe what was stolen from you in the wounding and is here for you as you reclaim it now. You have everything you need. You believe you lack, and the Bone Collector is your inner resource. Act as if you have what you need, and you'll find you have it after all. Anything is possible with awareness. The wounds of the past need not define you. Magical shapeshifter. See how he's blindfolded? He's not sure where he's going. I think everyone feels like that at the moment. Spoke to a person that I know who's got a shop, and she needs help. She needs to put someone on because she's got just herself there, but she can't afford to pay someone. Yet she needs someone, but she can't afford it because she has to pay, what did she say? Super. So it costs her more. So she's just going to slave away and get sick. And she can't afford to get sick. She has to close the shop if she has to. So that's where it's becoming really hard for anyone to hire anyone because they haven't got the resources to do it. Jobs are very hard to find right now. When the magical map shifter card arrives, it comes with a mission to make you aware of the people who come into your life to impact your personal growth. Perhaps you may meet a soulmate whose presence invites you to be the best you that you can be, or someone who leads you out of a difficulty and into a place of safety or success. Pay attention to those individuals who cross your path today and cause you to reflect on your journey. Be awake and aware, and you'll recognise them for the important change agents they are. Your whole perspective about who you are and why you're here will shift. The magical map shifter also initiates you into a better version of yourself. So you'll be inspired to make big changes, which I picked up in with the star card, being reborn. And that's all I have for Earth signs.